Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, which is usually about speculative fiction, but today I want to talk about House of the Dragon Episode 1, which I loved. So I don't watch a lot of TV or movies anymore, since really getting back into reading about 5 years ago, but I was riveted by this entire episode, and I wanted to chat about it a little bit. So, ever since I've become obsessed with reading, TV and movies have often really bored me. So I love reading and being in characters' heads. I love being active and visualizing everything as I'm reading and really engaging my imagination. And so TV has to be really excellent, I think, to captivate me and engage me fully and not bore me. And this did that, and I am pumped for the rest of this season and the show, because I was really into Game of Thrones for a while, but tailed off there by the end, and I feel like this is back in the prime of what that show was like, and can't wait to see where it goes. So this is going to be a spoiler chat for the episode, and I have not read the book Fire and Blood, haven't even read Song of Ice and Fire, but I got my nice copies back here. So I have no clue about this time period and the characters and what's going to happen. I'm coming into it completely blind and fresh, and so you'll get that kind of perspective from me as we go through the show. And right now, I'm in great suspense because this first episode set up so much, and I feel like it just a million things happened, and I can't wait to see where it's going. So let's start with the acting first of all. I was blown away by a lot of the acting in this episode. Paddy Considine as King Viserys just hit it out of the park. He was really amazing. It was a really complicated role, I think, to show off being this conscientious king, but who's maybe not as strong as he needs to be, a caring but aloof father to his daughter, a very caring husband, but willing to make a hard choice to lead to her death there with the C-section scene. He pulled off that he was obsessed with this having a son and having a male heir, but I thought he just did a tremendous job overall. And then I think we have a new star in the making with Millie Alcock. She just blew me away every minute she was on screen. I think she was just entrancing. Rhaenyra's character was not given that much to do in this episode, and I think the actor really sold us on her having a very rich, complex internal life and a lot of hidden depth that we don't necessarily see come out through conversation or actions that she's taking, but that we sense is there and will be important as this season plays out. And I think she's going to be a really special character and actress for years to come. Matt Smith, I am not familiar with Matt Smith from anywhere, but I really liked his Daemon Targaryen. I thought he did a great job showing off this kind of chaotic, wild card type of character who has a violent streak, very unpredictable, you don't know what he's going to do, has a thoughtful, kind of brooding side. I just really liked that portrayal. And so a lot of these main actors just are doing a tremendous job right now and really captivating me. One character that I was less enthralled by was Alicent. This character just had a lot of screen time, but came off pretty bland, and I thought the actor didn't really sell me. I thought it seemed like they were trying too hard, or I could just tell that it was acting, and I definitely prefer extremely naturalistic acting that I can't really tell is acting, and I'm just completely immersed and believing that this is this character in this setting in this time period. So hopefully that improves as we go. But also, Alicent was in scenes with Considine and Alcock, and so I don't think that helped this actor come off as doing the best job. But that's a really minor thing. I think with the plot, I am super excited with where this left off. So we have this very ambitious brother of the king, Daemon, who's now sent off into exile, and it seems like he's going to probably try to build up allies and try to take the throne. But he seems to like his niece. They had some weird sexual tension going on where he gave that gift of the necklace. And I don't know how that's going to play out now that Rhaenyra is the crowned heir. And I loved how this whole situation got set up, though, with the prologue, where we see the Targaryens are ruling, and they're very powerful in peacetime. They have all the dragons. And then the king, though, doesn't have a male heir, and so they have this council, and they choose Viserys instead of maybe a more qualified female queen. And that gives you a sense of the geopolitics that are going on, and gives you a sense that maybe things are not going to go so well for Rhaenyra if King Viserys dies due to his mysterious skin ailment, which really didn't look good. So seems like there's going to be a major sort of Game of Thrones happening in this season, which I am here for. So I thought the episode did a great job setting everything up in the beginning, but it really came into its own with the incredibly tense, intercutting scenes from the tournament and the birthing scene. There's just an extreme amount of tension and dread built up with the way those scenes were edited together, and you felt like the birth was not going to go well, and then it really, really didn't go well. That was hard to watch, and the tournament also was electric. So I enjoyed the kind of world building that was going on in that tournament, where it starts out and there's kind of just seems like people are playing by the rules, and then all of a sudden someone takes off the opponent from their horse and they start battling in hand-to-hand combat, and one of them kills the other, and the squire is throwing up. I just thought that was a very gritty, believable detail there. And the nobles are looking on like, and you're like, ooh, okay, this is a violent, brutal world. They're okay with a little chaos and violence. So I love the world building there. I also got some chills late in the episode when Viserys confided in Rhaenyra about the Targaryen family secret, about the dream that Aegon had, where he dreamed a Targaryen needed to be a ruler when the winter came and the great threat against humanity was going to come against them. And they called that a song of ice and fire. And when they used that, got some chills. I love that we got major series lore dropping in this episode, and that I now know where the title of the series really comes from and what it refers to. So that was just fantastic, and I love that part. Visually, I thought it was stunning. The sets, the costumes, the dragons, I thought were all stunning and believable. I just need my CGI to be believable and to feel like, that dragon is physically there in the setting and not a computer graphic, and totally past that threshold. And so everything looked great, and really I was completely immersed for that full hour, and that's really what I want. I want to be invested emotionally, caring what's happening, and just fully immersed. I have a few nitpicks, and so I love pointing out little logical plot holes that I think are things that wouldn't really happen, or that maybe in the moment pulled me out for a few seconds. And so I was thinking about them and noticed them when I was supposed to be immersed. So here's a few things that pulled me out. The first was the scene where Daemon was being really introduced as the leader of the City Watch, and he leads them out into the city, and there's carnage as they round up criminals and dismember them and execute some of them. And this scene was really, the way it was filmed and written, I think, was all for the vibes. It's just like the vibes of Daemon as this very violent, pragmatic type of character. But during it, all I was thinking was like, oh, so are they actually getting the criminals here, or are they just kind of going out and randomly doing some sort of reign of terror among the civilians, because they're just like running out into the city and beating up on people and gathering them. So I'm thinking, okay, were all the criminals just like gathered in the square and having a little criminal convention and waiting for this to happen? So I had these thoughts during it, so it took me out a little bit of the scene, because I was thinking, okay, it looks like they're just randomly rounding up people, and then there's a guy yelling, "Murderer! Thief! Rapist!" It's like, who is this guy? How does he know who has done what? Why are we just listening to this person before we dismember people and mete out the punishments? So the whole thing wasn't really logical. It was confusing to me. And the show played it as if Damon really did round up criminals and that he was just going too far in his methods. So that just took me out because it just really didn't make sense the way it was done. And it was more just about the overall vibes. So I can forgive it because it was a cool scene. Now the other one that just didn't make sense to me logically was when Damon is kind of looking in on the small council through like a hidden doorway with a window slit or something, and he's spying on the small council as they're talking about the heir situation and as they're arguing over, if Damon is worthy or not. And this was cool that Damon was able to see that the other people on the council are, very much against him and that his brother was defending him. That was cool that he was able to see that, but like, how is he spying on the small council? How is there even a way to do this for the most important, noble governing body in the realm? They don't check for people hiding in places where they could spy on them. They don't have to get through, guards. I just didn't buy that he was able to spy on this. So that I had that thought in a second, but really unimportant and didn't take away from my enjoyment. And the last one, which again is such a Hollywood-wide thing that I don't really blame this show, more Hollywood in general, which is when Damon is fighting in hand-to-hand combat during the tournament, and he fells his foe, and his opponent is on the ground, lying on the ground. And Damon turns around to gloat to the crowd, and the camera pans to him so we can't see the guy on the floor anymore. And you just know that the guy on the floor is going to use this opportunity to turn the tables, and that's exactly what happened. And this is so dumb. I hate this. I hate everything about it. It's been done a million times in Hollywood. Warrior characters, real fighters, would never do this. And if they did, it would be extraordinarily dumb and stupid for them to do it. And do Hollywood directors do this because they think it adds a dramatic turn to a fight? But the second that the camera moves away from the guy on the floor to the gloating, rube who's doing this, we know what's going to happen. It's no longer anything that's a twist. So I hate it. Hollywood writers and directors, please just stop. It's so dumb. This is not what real warriors would do. Just stop it. It's lazy writing. Do something else to add drama and twists and turns to combat scenes. But really, that's just not really about this show. I can forgive it. Overall, these 3 nitpicks were really tiny. I just enjoy pointing out little things like that I didn't find too realistic or to fit within the logic of the world in the narrative. Overall, I am pumped. I'm excited for the rest of the season. I absolutely can't wait to see how this is going to play out with Damon versus Rhaenyra, and what other kind of threats and plots are going to pop up in this world with other powers that I'm not really aware of, but that I'm sure will come into play. So I think this episode was fantastic, set the stage beautifully, and I am completely on board. All right, see you next time.